this difference that have taken place in your mother that make you to be different from your mother and your father. Are you getting me? Now, what are the pioneers in genetics? Number one, we have what we call Dinah. We have Dinah Bexley. All these are the pioneers in genetics. Number two, we have Johansen. We have Johansen. All these are pioneers in genetics. We have Johansen. We have Thomas Morgan. We have Thomas Morgan. And we have this man too. We have this man, Gregor Mendel. Gregor Mendel, the one that laid down the basic laws of genetics. All these people are the pioneers in genetics. We call them pioneers in genetics. They are also call them geneticists. What do? This man called Dylan Bexley is the first man that coined the word in 1902 or so. Is the first man that coined the word genetics, that first used the word genetics. This Johansen is the one that locates the position of chromosome, the position of gene on a chromosome. The position of what? Gene on chromosome. This man, called Thomas Morgan, is also a prominent man in the field of genetics because he performed a particular experiment using a particular insect that we called this fruit fly. His work is also prominent in the field of genetics. He used a fruit that we call Drosophila melanogaster. He uses this word that we call melanogaster. His work is also prominent in the field of. We are going to look at it very well later. Then this man too is also a prominent man in the field of genetics because he's regarded as the father of genetics, and he's the one that laid down the basic laws of genetics. This man called Gregor Mendel, and he uses a particular emphasis important here is that he uses a particular plant to perform his experiment when he wants to find out the reason why people are similar, that people have inherited something from their species, that they are different, they are also different. He uses a plant that we call this pea plant. He uses a pea plant to support his own theory, and the name of the plant is called Pisum sativum. Pisum sativum. That is the name of the site. All these are people who are what we call pioneers in genetics. Now let's quickly go to what are the importance of genetics. Importance of genetics. Now that's when we say we can say importance, or we can call it application. Where can we apply genetics? Now basically genetics can be applied broadly in two main fields of studies. Two main fields of study. Number one, it can be applied in the field of medicine, and number two, it can be applied in the field of agriculture. So genetics is important in these two areas of our life. It is important in medicine, it is important in agriculture. Therefore, now, how is it important in medicine? Number one, it is important in medicine. Number one, it can be used as a diagnosis of disease. Medicine has been proved that if you want to know the causes of a particular disease, like all these diseases that we call cancer of the liver, you know what we call chemotherapy now, chemoradiology, that you destroy the cancer cell. So it is by the knowledge of medicine, it is the knowledge of genetics that you are able to do that. Number two, we have what we call marriage counseling. Scientists, genetics is the field of, you can apply the knowledge of genetics in the field of marriage counseling. If you want people to advise you on who to marry, because somebody can say he's not a sickler, he's having a genotype of AA, and he wants to decide to go and marry somebody that is let's say somebody that is not a sickler, he's having a genotype of AS, and he want to go and marry somebody that is also an SS. Doctor will advise that person that it is not too good for him or her to marry that he or she. Are you getting me? The person will not marry that person, because both of them must not have the same. If you look at the AS and the SA, they can give birth to the SA, which is a what? Sickle cell person. So you can use it in the area of marriage counseling. Number 3, you can also use it in the area of determination of paternity. Determination of paternity. Some people are also dispute, because sometimes there's a dispute sometimes. Who is the father of a son? Or who is the father of this son? Who is the father of this? Who is the mother of this daughter? Are you getting me? Somebody can have people can marry themselves now. Maybe he has noticed that he's not always do rubbish outside. They will now be fighting. I'm not the owner of the baby. So instead of arguing, disputing themselves, they will just go to an expert in the field of genetics. They can help them consult their DNA and be able to determine the father of that particular daughter or particular son. So number 5, we have what we call knowing the sex of a baby. Knowing the sex of a baby. Knowing the sex of a baby. You can know the sex of a baby through the ability of genetics. Because right from the way you have, because some people always have problem in their worry that when they get pregnant like that, they will be thinking that what is inside, what is it a female that is in my, did I want to give birth to a female daughter, or did I want to give birth to a male daughter? They don't know. So instead of giving yourself a condition or a problem like that, you can go to an expert in the field of genetics or a doctor in the field of medicine. They can use it to tell you the sex of the baby that is in your womb through a special technique that by the doctors. They will be able to tell you the sex of the baby inside you. Then number 5 that I'm going to do is to choose the baby. Choose the sex of the baby. There are some people that they have tried. So there are some couples in this life that have tried to give birth to a male son. They always give birth to a female. They have tried to give birth to a male son. Through the knowledge of genetics, doctors in the field of medicine can help them to help them to select, to give birth to a baby boy for them. You can choose the sex of your baby that you want to give birth to through a special professional technique, a professional medical technique for you. You'll be able to choose the sex of your baby for you. Now, how is it useful in the field of agriculture? In the field of agriculture, it is useful in the production of new varieties of crops, new varieties of crops and animals. New varieties of crops and animals that are able to adapt to climatic conditions. That is number 1. They are also to adapt to that can adapt to climatic conditions. That's number 1. Number 2, new varieties of crops and animals that can resist diseases. And then they can also, that is number 2. Number 3 is it also bring about. Number two is to also produce new varieties of crops, new varieties of animals that are able to adapt to climatic conditions. Number 3 is to what? Is to increase productivity. To increase productivity. To increase so that the production of agricultural production may be increased through the knowledge of producing fertilizer, producing manure, producing compost. Through the process, through the knowledge of genetics, you can increase agricultural production. So all these are all the importance of usefulness or applications or importance of genetics in the field of medicine and agriculture. Please, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to it and learn at your leisure time. Please, and God bless you.